Since the pandemic started in 2020, a lot of people made the decision to move to the East Coast, Nova Scotia in particular. Recently, Nova Scotia surpassed 1 million people. This was a really big milestone for the province, being the first in the Atlantic region to hit the 1 million mark. Today what I'm going to do is tell you about the 5 best places I would live in Nova Scotia. Just like my list for New Brunswick, this list is mostly based on my opinion with some facts to back it up. I can say I've spent a good amount of time in all these places to give a valid opinion on them. If you have other places I didn't list, by all means, let everyone know in the comments. There are a lot of great places in the province that don't make my list. So let's get right into it. The 5 best places to live in Nova Scotia. Number 5, Cape Breton. Based on the landscape and sheer beauty of Cape Breton, it could easily be number 1 on this list. That being said, there are some drawbacks to life on Cape Breton Island. High-speed internet and reliable cell service is still very tough to come by in some areas of Cape Breton. Not all of Cape Breton, but there are still some areas with basically nothing. Just as there are in mainland Nova Scotia, it's a work in progress. Real estate in Cape Breton is among the cheapest in all of Nova Scotia. You can find some really nice homes in the $200,000 range. That said, some of these homes might be extremely rural and not close to anything. But for some people, that will be perfect. Cape Breton's obviously really big, so I didn't just list one town on Cape Breton Island. I just said Cape Breton, but here are some that I would recommend. Bedeque, Inverness, St. Peter's, and then obviously, of course, Sydney. For me personally, if I moved to Cape Breton, I'd probably have to choose Sydney just because it's the biggest area. It's what I'm used to, like having sort of lots of people around, lots of things to do. I'm not really about the whole rural lifestyle, but for some people, they want nothing to do with anyone, and Cape Breton would be a really good place for that. Number 4, Antigonish. Home to the Highland Games, Antigonish is a small university town located 2 hours from Halifax in northeastern Nova Scotia. With a population of just under 5,000 people, and then nearly 4,000 additional people when university's in session, Antigonish has a true East Coast feel to the town. The people are super friendly, the food is great, and there's lots to do nearby. St. FX University is a lifeline to the town's economy. The St. FX population helps the local small businesses significantly, and it also creates a lot of jobs in the town. One of the downsides to it being a small university town is that the housing and rental market is extremely tough. Rental prices are inflated because of the demand from students and the fact that most rentals rent out on a per room basis as opposed to per unit. For example, a lot of houses in Antigonish will rent for over $3,000 a month easily, but there could be 5, 6, maybe even 7 students living in the house, splitting it. When it comes to buying a house, there's a lot of competition because being a landlord in Antigonish is extremely popular, and honestly, why wouldn't it be? There are a lot of houses in the town owned by people from out of the province who then rent to students to make a really good profit. It's just something to be aware of because if you see a good deal on a house, it's probably not going to last very long. With lots of beaches nearby, hiking trails, sports, and much more, Antigonish is a vibrant small town that a lot of people could really enjoy living in. Number 3, Kentville. Now, I couldn't make this video without including a town from the valley on this list. The Annapolis Valley is arguably one of the best regions of Nova Scotia. There are so many great small towns to choose from. Don't think that Kentville is the only one. Places like Berwick, Wolfville, Canning, Annapolis Royale, Kingston, New Minas, the list just goes on and on. Kentville is located an hour and 15 minutes from Halifax, and it has pretty much everything you would need, including a hospital. With great restaurants and awesome people, you really can't go wrong here. Housing in Kentville is generally what I would call pretty affordable. Based on what I've found, it seems like you can find a nice home in the area for around the $300,000 range. There also appears to be a lot of land for sale in the area. With lots of small towns nearby and in the region, living in the valley gives you a lot of places to explore. I have friends that live in around the Canning area and they absolutely love it, and I don't blame them at all. There's a lot to love about the region. Number 2, Hammonds Plains. It was a tough one. There are a lot of awesome places within the HRM that you could move to. Full disclosure, this is one of the more expensive areas to live in the Halifax area, and with houses easily going for over $600,000, it's not cheap. Other places in and around Halifax that I would recommend that you could find places for cheaper than that would be Bedford, which is really close to Hammonds Plains, and then a little bit more outside of the city up the highway, Fall River. Fall River is an awesome little town. And if you wanted to be right by the airport, I'd also recommend Enfield. It's a cute small little town, not a lot going on, but of course you're literally right next door to the airport. Hammonds Plains has some incredible homes with a great atmosphere for families. The area has been growing for as long as I can remember, and it's become one of the most desired places to live in the HRM. For me, the biggest negative about it is the traffic on Hammonds Plains Road, especially when you're trying to get to the highway. During rush hour, this can be a nightmare. It can take you an hour just to get to the highway from Hammonds Plains. Just due to the volume of cars and the road not being big enough to handle them all, it's pretty simple. It sucks. No way around it. Being in the HRM, you're close to literally everything. The city is a very short drive away if there's no traffic. And as is like the airport, shopping amenities you could need, everything. There's hospitals. Everything you need is within a very close distance if you decide to move to Hammonds Plains or anywhere in the HRM. And number 1, Bridgewater. The South Shore of Nova Scotia has to be my favorite region of the province. The most picturesque towns you could think of are on the South Shore. Now, while I picked Bridgewater, I want to make it clear that you can not really go wrong anywhere in this region. I'd live in Lunenburg, Mahone Bay, Chester, just as quickly as I would in Bridgewater. Picked Bridgewater because it's the biggest town in the area with the most amenities. The way the town is split between the Lehigh River is also, I find it pretty cool. Bridgewater is a growing town with a large industrial park located close to the Highway 103. It brings a lot of jobs to the region as well. And being only 15 minutes away from Lunenburg, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, that's pretty cool. Lunenburg is home to some of the best restaurants in all of Nova Scotia. I highly recommend eating at the Grand Banker and the Fisheries Museum. Those are my 2 favorites by far. Housing in the Bridgewater area has gone up in recent years, like most places. But in the 300 to 450 range, you can find some really nice homes. The smaller the town you pick, the more likely you'll find something cheaper, except for Lunenburg. Like, don't look in Lunenburg because stuff is expensive there. My advice to you, if you want to find the best bang for your buck, is not to set your limit to one specific town. Search for houses in the entire South Shore region. There are some real hidden gems that you could find in a town you probably didn't even hear of. Doing the drive along Highway 3 is absolutely gorgeous, and even if you don't plan on moving to the South Shore, I highly recommend taking this route as opposed to taking the 103. You won't regret it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Nova Scotia is and always will be a very special place to me. There's a lot to love about this province. As I mentioned, if you have any other recommendations at all of different towns in Nova Scotia that I miss, let everyone know in the comments. Like, get a whole discussion about the province going. I love reading about it. Let me know what you think about Nova Scotia in general. Would you move to the province? Why wouldn't you? Whatever, just let me know. Also, be sure to leave some suggestions for future videos in the comments. Like and subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.